So, Fast 9 is released today in the States. I have not seen it yet, but I've been prepping for it. I've watched the first 8 films and Hobbs and Shaw, all of them with and without the director's commentary, except for Furious 7. For some reason, my copy of that movie does not have a director's commentary on it. But all the other ones I've watched alone and with the director's commentary. I've watched Better Luck Tomorrow, the unofficial origin story of Han. And right now, I'm about to watch this 1954, completely unrelated, is my understanding. They just used the title. And I don't want to say that I've heard like rumors or anything, but I've heard rampant speculation that maybe, and this is from people that have not seen the movie. So there is absolutely no real reason, pardon my dog's breathing if you can hear the grunts over there. There's absolutely no reason to think that this would happen. But it's more of a, wouldn't it be wild if they somehow reference the story of this old 1954 film in F9 or perhaps in a future installment. Also, my understanding is that there's only one actor from this movie that's still alive. So if that's something that they were, ever going to do, it's like, now's the time to do it. So I'm not expecting this to change anything about F9 when I go to see it, but just in case, I wanted to check it out first. I know nothing about this movie. Reading the back tells me that there's going to be something about crime, something about driving, and something about the Mexican border. So, those 3 things fit with the franchise. Don't see why they couldn't connect them. And then it actually says on the back that our title was used for the Vin Diesel blockbuster. So they're really leaning into that. They have right there on the front the original high-octane classic. So I'm going to check this out. I have no idea what to expect. 72 minutes. So it should be pretty brisk. And if I have any thoughts at all, I'll let you know after I watch it. Alright, I've just finished watching this movie, and I've got a couple notes here. By the way, the whole thing's on YouTube, apparently, so you don't need to buy it like I did. You can check it out if you're interested in it. 72 minutes long. It feels long. And I will link to it down in the description below if you're interested. First thing I wrote down was that it reminds me of an Abbott and Costello film. So it's an old movie, 1954. I don't watch a lot of movies from that era. It's black and white. Excuse my dog sneezing. And it's really heavy on the super intense orchestral score that makes everything super dramatic all the time. And just Abbott and Costello are the first things that came to mind for me for like that style of filmmaking and the sound and the sound quality and the type of shots that they use. And, you've got, it's almost like some early Bond films where the actor is just doing this with the steering wheel while, a screen shows a road going by behind him. Certainly we've come a long way in our movie making magic. Next thing I wrote down, they mentioned Coachella, which in the first Fast and Furious, the Fast and the Furious, they mentioned Coachella, and I don't know much about the music history of Coachella, but I think it became a big deal after that movie. So it's just kind of a casual mention. I've got 3 dogs here, all making different noises. Oh my goodness. But yeah, they mentioned Coachella again, which I thought was just a real neat coincidence. The main character, who is very, very briefly, the plot of the film features a character who was wrongly imprisoned. He's broken out of jail, and he's making a run for the border to try to get freedom in Mexico. He does that by kidnapping a girl and stealing her car, which of course means they fall in love, right? Because that's how it happens. And he's arrested. He's wanted for murder because, based on the official story and his story, he accidentally ran a trucker off the road, and other people around the scene claimed that he did it on purpose or whatever, so he's wanted for murder. And it's like the first Fast and Furious film, they're attacking truckers. So again, like when they took the title for this movie, it was just the title. Their movie was already done, and the rights that they bought were just to the title, not to the story. And it's a very different story. But it's kind of interesting to see some of these connections that they have. My dogs are snoring now. Two great quotes that I wrote down. The first one from the female that he kidnaps is, "I hate you. I not only hate you, I dislike you." And that sounds exactly like something that Deckard Shaw would say to Luke Hobbs in a Hobbs and Shaw sequel, right? Just picture Jason Statham. "I hate you. Not only do I hate you, I don't like you." Like, that sounds, it's so stupid. It sounds exactly like something he would say. And then I've also written down, so at one point we see, because, man, these old movies, there's no subplot, there's just like one thing, and you see everything that happens. So we see them, and how do they get food, and how do they sleep, and blah, blah, blah. And so they pull over to the side of the road, and he, like, ties their arms together so they can fall asleep, and he won't have to worry about her running away. And he wakes up before her and goes to, like, wash his face off or something in a spring or something. And she wakes up later and apparently looks grumpy. And he says, "What's the matter? Did you wake up on the wrong side of the car?" Which is just perfect. You know, not only have you kidnapped this girl, stolen her car, and are just being the worst to her, but then when she wakes up after a horrible night of sleep, you know, insult her too. Go for it. There's a lot of the uncomfortable James Bond form of romance where, you know, the woman hates you and you just keep kissing her against her will and eventually she falls in love with you. There's a scene where he locks her in some kind of a shed to get away. And in order to be rescued, she sets the shed on fire with her inside, hoping that it will attract someone's attention, which it does. And so someone comes to let her out, and she's like, "Can you get me to the race? Because there's this big race going on." And the guy's like, "Sure, but..." And he kind of like points to the fire, and she's like, "I'll explain later." And they leave. And it's like, it's not the explanation you should be concerned with. You set a building on fire and left it. And they never go back there. They never address it. So she just burned down a building. But, you know, in the end, he's innocent. So she's, you know, she's his ride or die. They don't say that, but that's a common theme in the Fast movies. So she turns him in order to save him. Because she tries to convince him that if you go on the run in Mexico, you'll never have the life you deserve. If you stop running, you turn yourself in, you let the justice system work, you explain that you're innocent, then, you know, she says things like, the real you or the person you are is worth fighting for, or something like that. It's completely bogus that she would care about him at all because, as I said, he kidnapped her and stole her car. But of course, he just kept kissing her, so of course she falls in love with him. So that is The Fast and the Furious, 1954. My very generic thoughts on it. Like I said, it's all on YouTube. I'll link it below if you want to check it out for yourself. But even though it's barely over an hour, I was checking the time a few times because it's a long one. So that's all I've got for this. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.